Last time on Ace Attorney. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that...
You serious?
Hello guys, and welcome to what might just be the final episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Wow! What a monumental accomplishment for the channel. Kind of sad that we're ending on episode 29 instead of a nice round number like 30, but what can you do? I'm not gonna cut this short or anything, because, I mean, this is gonna be like the stunning conclusion. So, we're gonna go through all of it. I don't care if it's 3 hours. I'm keeping it all in one video. Okay? Because, you know, like, the investigations are fine. Like, I'm fine with cutting those up in half, but the actual trial sections, I think that they work best when they're done, like, each section is done as it's, you know, as a full episode, rather than cutting it down the middle, because then it can kind of break the flow. And there's also not really any good spots to cut. In the investigation, there's plenty of spots to cut. Here, in a trial, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to cut it. So, this might be a very long episode, and I'm very excited for that. Whew, so, Emma is, being charged with the murder of Neil Marshall. That's where we left off, and now, well, we're gonna be, I guess we're gonna try to see where that goes. I don't know. Are they gonna just leave it at that and then just use that to inform the current case? Like, oh, Emma's still gonna get arrested for Neil Marshall's murder at the end of the day, but at the same time, it's also gonna clear Lana's name in this incident and incriminate Damon Gant. Or is there going to be a second twist relating to SL9, where it turns out that Emma didn't actually kill Marshall? Because, again, like I said, like, the order of events that has been presented to us makes no sense, because it implies that when Marshall was knocked back, he knocked the vase into the air and fell into the sword, meaning that he died. However, if this was the case, then Emma's name couldn't have been written by him on the vase because, you know, it was broken, and the lines very clearly crossed across the different broken parts of the vase. So it must have been done when the vase was still... So either someone wrote Emma's name in blood on the vase before Emma knocked Marshall into the knife, or Marshall was knocked into the knife, he wrote his name on the jar, and then through some other means, the jar was thrown into the air. Either way, it's gonna severely change how we see how the crime went down. Also, another thing that's worth mentioning is the fact that, if you remember, a couple of episodes ago, when we were in Gant's office, I did a luminol test around the entire office, and we found some blood near on Lana's side of the office where the murder supposedly took place. However, the statue is on the complete opposite side of the office, and not only are there no blood marks, you know, implying that a body was dragged across the office, nor is there any blood on the sword itself. So that leads me to believe that that he might not have died on that sword after all, or, you know, Gant was very thorough with the cleaning, and, you know, I think Gant is probably the smartest out of all the, I mean, I'd say after Von Karma, he's the smartest murderer we've, had on our hands yet. I mean, I forgot that Von Karma existed. He's way smarter than Gant. So yeah, I would imagine that Gant would have taken care to erase the blood traces in such a way that a luminol test wouldn't actually reveal anything. I think as long as you use like bleach or other bases, it's not something you could just wipe away. You need to actually come fully prepared and research what you're doing. So, and it's certainly not putting Gant past that, but we'll see how it goes. Yes, without further ado, let's get right into it. Oh, I'm excited. Chills, man, chills. February 25th, 1206 District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Just like yesterday. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Again? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around all day while on duty. This is literally the same interaction we had yesterday. And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals, pal. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give you this if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Ashworth was talking about that just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You can at least study some evidence law, really? Didn't you go to law school or anything? Yeah, I kind of flunked. I passed the bar exam through pure luck. Chief Prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. Gant. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Yeah, because Gant is going to pull out all the stops to try to stop us, so, yeah. Evidence law. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. Well, I'm gonna read it anyways. Jesus Christ, is that 3 full pages worth of evidence? Indeed it is! Nice! Are we gonna reach a 4th page? That'd be fun. Alright, rules for submitting evidence. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Well, that was a short book. Fucking Persona 4 book lengths right here. What's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Ha! Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Sky found out she unwittingly caused the man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Oh, yep. Big series finale vibes. February 25th, 1252, District Court, courtroom number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Ha! He doesn't give a shit. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witness? I didn't say that! It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing! Yeah, there is in, like, any sane legal system? Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. We're working together here, man! Yeah, this feels so good! This is even better than when we teamed up on, I forgot what the fuck her name was, the, Steel Samurai producer. Then it's settled! The, defense may now call forth the next witness! Mr. Wright? Huh? You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls. Time's finally come to bring up the real murderer. Alright, I mean... You've testified already, you're gonna lie in your testimony, you have no idea what's going on, you're dead, you've testified already. No. It's time! Take that! Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he could still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True! All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand! Witness, please state your name and occupation. Right, Edgeworth, I'm gonna be level with you. No idea what's going on here. I just really wanted to hear his epic organ music. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Oh, it's fine, Chief Gant. You can have one of my sandwiches. Your name and occupation, food, will have to wait. Are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So you want to play hardball, hey? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this? Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware of the course. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons. Sure, take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? That's fucking bullshit. I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. What the fuck is this corrupt bullshit? Why? Why does he have the right to refuse to testify? The fuck? Why do I have a feeling that he instituted that, rule? Of course, such an action carries with it certain risk. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. His fucking flexing his powers. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. Oh, you fool. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Yeah, bullshit. Is that when Dark was arrested? Oh, he's lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see! Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast. Lana did admit to forging evidence. That can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link the incident to Gant. Right. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right! But Dark made it to the elevator first. Oh shit, I'm running out of fucking... My headphones are running out of power. Ah, fuck. Give me a second while I fix this, okay? Alright, I think we're good. I plugged in my headphones now, but my cable is too short and it's fucking choking me. So, yeah, we'll have to deal with that, but, I'll manage. Hopefully. Alright, because of this unfortunate situation, let's not drag this on longer than I have to. That's right, Dark made the move to the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs, I guess you could say. He got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that! The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went to his heart, though. It's not funny. Yeah, I call bullshit on that. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. But moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd better be staring at my beautiful, oiled-up pecs. Oh, trust me, I am. Worthy, always the smooth talker. Clearly the, boss. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery? But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant! Ooh, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's the defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then that you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office and found this evidence. Alright, whatever. Fuck me, I guess. So, due to unforeseen circumstances, yeah, I'm not getting any audio through my headphones. I think this happened once during the Steel Samurai case. Yeah, no, I'm fucked. Okay, so I have no audio on my end. You should still all be able to hear game audio. I won't, though, so, fuck. Alright, I guess I'm stuck without music for the rest of this. Fuck. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Rhino? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. No! I can't hear Edgeworth's silky smooth voice. No! Alright, I guess my headphones are charging. Once I get a bit further into this, I'll probably go for like 15 minutes, and then after that, I'll see if they've charged up by then, and hopefully we'll return to normal, but yeah. I'm gonna be deaf for a few minutes. Worthy, my boy. Worthy, my boy! Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. He's already gotten fired. Yes, well, in the light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding those pieces of evidence in your office and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Piece of shit. Evidence and forgery. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyways, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. I hate him so much. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand I am Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences. Ooh, scary. Indeed, I believe I'll press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow to that? Today is, well, you know. All right, OG, in return, though. I know, that place, right? Huh? What are these two guys, fucking telepathic? Shit, I don't know what to do here. Gant isn't the one who murdered Prosecutor Marshall 2 years ago. Yet I know he played a part in the forgery. That can only mean someone asked him to be an accomplice. Damon Gant, someone's accomplice? That sounds unlikely. I guess we'll press him. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I broke into a cattle ranch and tipped Mr. Wright. What are you saying? Anyways, you can't prove you didn't carry any in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're gonna need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Rhino's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. I mean, not really. If I know your safe code, it's technically... I don't think there's any law stopping me from looking inside your safe if I know the code. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come on, Rhino. Think about it. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Huh? Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Yeah, it was voluntary manslaughter at worst. I'd go for involuntary manslaughter. Well, now do you see? Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh! The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is a sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without the case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up in the inevitable a little bit. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyways. Be careful when pointing in that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed to. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. It's out of the open now. Gee, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough enough on yourself, though. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Huh. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Yes. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright! It appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand? That's not what I mean. Like, at all. Not even close. Very well, then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Take that! Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series. Is that a Lemony Snicket reference? Emma Skye fell victim to a series of unfortunate events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me, despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait! You must mean puppet, as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive, to appoint her as chief prosecutor so that you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than conjecture. Unless... that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one could this be? BL6, DL69, SM9452? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial, almost as if someone had been controlling her. Yeah. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language for the court. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. We're all in this together, Mr. Wright. Looks like he's the one deciding to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. And what is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. Edgeworth is, he's really taking the charge here. I respect this man immensely. Alright, let's see if my headphones are sufficiently charged now to last me through the rest of the trial. Alright, well, they're working at least. That's something. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see! Alright then, let's see what Mr. Wright's got. And it better be good! Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Is it time? Is it time to bring out the ID number? Alright. Let's do it. At this point, Edgeworth is all in with us. He's not gonna go straight for the ruling. This is an ID card list! Yes, the one that shows us who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 777-777-7. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? A safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 777-7777. As same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Oh! Oh, he shook! We have shooketh the man! I was not expecting to see him like this so soon. I guess we're drawing to a close because... I mean, if we can prove him guilty of, if we're going into this, we're gonna prove him guilty of the case, we're gonna close the case, and then we can go back, prove his forgery in SL9, and then we're done! Ho ho! Let's see what's Gant got in store for us. It's time for the final battle has begun! No backing out now. Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of the office was in violation of regulation. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it! You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's in the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want! Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not! Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days! You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant? I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt! No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. Oh! That is a good line! If Chief Gant met with the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm gonna have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet with Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Goodman's ID. No. After 4, I just want to make sure that matches with the ID card record real quick. Yeah, it does. Good. Good to know. It has to be the lockers, right? Because if Goodman's locker was opened that day, then Goodman must have been there. Yet, he didn't enter with anyone else. No, there's gotta be something more solid than this. On that day, Detective Goodman had to see Chief Gant. Sorry to interrupt your mumblings, but the court is waiting. Oops. Why don't you come meet with me tomorrow? Perhaps you could write up your letter of termination! Regardless of that obvious threat, you did see Detective Goodman that day. I'm going with Goodman's note. Shit! Oh! Lost item report can only be submitted to the chief of police. There it is. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filed out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of that report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it, alright. How do I know, you ask? Guess he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh! Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective into the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on! Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait! The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes! Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Objection! Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your car was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found in his body. No! Chief Gant! You didn't! What the fuck? This man just went Super Saiyan! The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime for no one in their right mind. You know, Von Karma did not break down anywhere near this easily. Like, Von Karma coached a fucking parrot so that I wouldn't have any witnesses to call. What did you do? Okay, look, if Von Karma can't sneak a, 15-year-old murder past me? You think you're gonna sneak a 3-day-old one? Bitch, what? Would choose the police department as the place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you! Take this dead body over to the prosecutor's office? I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was just a useless clue taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. A screwdriver. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? But, what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Etchworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here? It's here because... Ah! I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did because Chief Gant asked you to? You mean, The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal of the defense's outrageous accusation? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something! I believe... Your time's up. My time's up. Sorry, Rhino, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're about to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That's not a right to be casually invoked! There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this, with your tail between your legs. Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Oh, You think I had law to dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright. Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body? Do I have any concrete proof? Shit. I can't... I don't know. Let's see. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Yuji? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's the tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose. Worthy. It seems the Lady Luck is on my side again today. Okay, LG, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. Is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. Ah! Lady Luck, huh? Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. Oh, Edgeworth! Coming in with the save! A lady who knows the truth. Another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all these questions. Erased in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth! Who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth. But we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor, the defense calls forth Lana Skye. The defendant? Miss Lana Skye? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task is to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's order. Mr. Edgeworth! The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day? What? Oh! Oh, I was not expecting this. Alright, shit! I guess we won't be finishing it today. Shit! In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Oh, okay, I was about to say. Hold on. Huh? Chief Garrett, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course you'd never support such outrageous claims anyways, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. God damn him. Okay, if there aren't any further objections. Come on, you're telling me that doesn't indicate fucking anything? This court is now in recess. Shit. February 25th, 2:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Alright, Edgeworth, what's your strategy? You're the smart one here. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworths. Chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe? I'm not a detective anymore. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. What? Oh my god. I'm honored. You know, I jokingly said a couple of episodes ago that I wanted Neil Marshall to come work for us, but Gumshoe? The second greatest boy in this game? Working for us? Yes! We'll make an unstoppable team! My office? Sure! I'll take the place of the top daughter girl you used to work with. Could he mean Maya? Looks like we're out of moves now. Chief Gant's there again. Now he always got the upper hand. Yep. I guess in the following games we're gonna have fucking Gumshoe as our sidekick? Come on, now you're making me feel guilty for taking a break in between games if Gumshoe is gonna be there? Fuck yes! It's not fair. He has the right to refuse to... It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that's not a right to be casually invoked! There are certain risks to be considered! Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Lana? Oh, Emma! Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's going on. Emma, sorry about what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me? Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. Oh, what do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside to force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't blame yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society. Society Gumshoe! Society Gumshoe! Hey, Chief Gant, what do you get when you cross a mentally defective detective with a society that treats him like crap? You got what you fucking deserve, pal! Well, that's not what I was expecting. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Oh, we better get back. It's about time for the final act. Emma, why don't you just wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. You and I. To be continued. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, I guess the stunning conclusion will have to wait. Man, the noose is tightening around Gant, and he's chosen to run. Fantastic. So, I guess this is it. Tomorrow, and I mean, I know it's a little unorthodox. Usually I don't post videos on weekends, but yes, tomorrow we'll have, we're gonna finish the game. Definitely, unless there's a Trial Ladder 3, which might get a little bit ridiculous at that point, but yes. Woo! What a trip! Yeah, we're hopefully we can get Lana to tell the truth. I wonder how that's gonna go, and how we're gonna bring. Yeah, we're gonna drag Gant to justice and avenge Edgeworth. Mark my fucking words. All right. But yes, that's gonna do it for this episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And by the way, if you're a fan of anime visual novels, you should check out our Persona 4 Golden streams every Sunday at 3. It's an anime visual novel murder mystery, much like this game, but it's also a JRPG, and it's fucking amazing. So, I'll see you at the finale. Oh.